For Ball State senior Sultan Benson, he says all he was doing was sitting at the back of a classroom like this one, looking at his class's PowerPoint. But that's when he says his professor, Shaheen Borna, asked him to move to the front of the classroom. If you're thinking about bringing your kids out to the playground, fire officials say that you should test out the equipment first. A good rule of thumb, place the back of your hand up against the equipment because they say that that's more sensitive than other parts of your body. And if it feels good to you, then that means that it is good to go for your kids. Well, Zoe Colton, just what a day. He's being accused of theft of government funds. This morning, he was arrested at his home by the FBI. All of this happening around 7:30. The roads right now just not good. I do want to let you know that NewsLink Indiana's Joey Moore is with me right now as we are kind of navigating the roads together. Let's go ahead now and flip around the camera. As you can see right there, a lot of slush on the roadways right now. Joel and Anna, let me just tell you, this is a devastating situation. As you guys said, one person is dead after this fire. All of this happening in the house that is just behind me here on Tillotson Avenue. This change does take effect tomorrow. The school will become an independent Catholic Jesuit school. I spoke with the principal and he said that they saw this coming after the Archdiocese found out about the teacher's same-sex relationship on social media.
Today's walkout comes 1 week after the confrontation that went viral and made national headlines.
NewsLink Indiana's Tylor Brummett is live in the studio. Tyler, what are the students saying about this?
Yeah, well, Peyton and Sam, really just a unique day in Ball State's history. As students say, they believe this is a conversation that hasn't only been a week in the making, but a problem that has gone on for years, and its injustice they feel needs to come to an end immediately. Hundreds of students packed the University Green today, and so did members of the community as well as university officials. Change now! A snowy January morning didn't stop hundreds of students from walking out of class. The protest was a response to a professor calling university police because a student wouldn't change seats. A video of the incident went viral. For students like Cameron Green, this was an opportunity for students to be heard.
The longer we put this off, the longer nothing's gonna happen about it.
Throughout the demonstration, person after person telling their story, at times emotional, especially for Sultan Benson, the student in the middle of it all.
Anybody raise their hand if Mufasa has helped them in any way?
You got a legacy.
This your legacy,
no
guys.
production.
This your legacy, guys.
The bigger cause, the bigger picture is being seen now. It seems like more students are on board and not scared to share their stories.
Tuesday, Benson wasn't alone. In attendance, hundreds of his peers, also Ball State President Jeffrey Mearns. BSU and Mearns declined to talk Tuesday, but the president's mere presence is one both Benson and former mayoral candidate Terry Whit Bailey say is progress.
We've got to remember that President Mearns is an ally, not only to the students and the staff, but to the community, and we're seeing that.
Thank you for attending, and we understand that he's not alone, and he can't make everything make every change by himself. So I would never put him at fault.
The demonstration also questioned the balance of power between professors and students. Organizers say the professor, Shaheen Borna, violated multiple university policies when the police were called, including falsely reporting an emergency.
To think our tax dollars getting spent on a student refusing to change seats, I just don't think that's where our money should be going to.
And while Benson says he feels Tuesday's walkout was a step in the right direction in a much bigger conversation, he's waiting for more work to be done. But in the meantime, he's grateful that hundreds of people supported this cause.
I definitely appreciate all the support. I can't say that enough. I'm away from home. I got my roommates and I got everybody here, so I appreciate it.
Now, it is worth noting that today's walkout was put together by students. Now, tomorrow night, a forum will be held at 6:30 by both the Student Government Association as well as the Black Student Association. NewsLink Indiana will be there, and we're going to bring you the very latest. We've got details on that forum, as well as our previous coverage online at ballstatedaily.com. Now, as far as Benson, he told me today that he will be meeting with President Mearns this Saturday. So, of course, this is something, guys, that we're going to continue to keep you updated on.
Muncie Mayor Dennis Tylor arrested by the FBI this morning. We have live team coverage tonight from City Hall.
That's right. NewsLink Indiana's Tylor Brummett has been following this story since it broke this morning. He starts us off tonight. Now, Tyler, what charge is the mayor facing?
Well, Zoe Colton, just what a day. He's being accused of theft of government funds. This morning, he was arrested at his home by the FBI. All of this happening around 7:30. Later in the day, he was released. And of course, with the arrest now coming down and all of this happening, a lot of people just asking, where does the city go from here?
Dennis Tylor has held a position of public trust. As alleged in the indictment, between 2014 and August of 2016, Mayor Dennis Tylor broke that trust.
U.S. Attorney Josh Minkler talking to the media after the arrest of Muncie Mayor Dennis Tylor around 7:30 Monday morning. The 76-year-old facing a charge after years of FBI investigations of city government. Investigations Tylor told Newslink just 2 weeks ago he knew little about.
I actually can't comment on that. I have no more information than I did when it started 3 years ago.
Court documents say Tylor is accused of accepting $5,000 from Tracy Barton, the former superintendent of sewer maintenance and engineering for the Muncie Sanitary District. Barton was arrested last year. FBI Special Agent in Charge Paul Holdman says it's all an abuse of power and goes against everything public service should be.
When our elected officials use their position to serve themselves rather than serve the citizens who they represent, it shakes the public confidence and undermines the strength of our democracy.
And while Tylor awaits his next court date, Attorney Minkler says what he believes is the truth will eventually come out.
The charges that we have investigated in Muncie throughout the last 4 years have painted a pretty bleak picture. It seems to me that even in this case, at some point, there needs to be a change.
And Newslink Indiana's Annie Keister joining me now. And Annie, you know, a lot of people, they're saying that today was a shocking day, but there are other people who are saying with all these FBI investigations going on, they're really not surprised that this came down. Some people more surprised about the timing of it, considering the fact that Mayor Tylor has only a month and a half left in his term. But you're going to actually now take us through the timeline of all these FBI investigations because it's been a lengthy process.
Well, these investigations with the Muncie government laid all the way back to 2016 officially.
Yeah, and again, just a lot happening today. There are definitely going to be some more developments with this. Newslink Indiana is going to continue to bring you coverage of this, and as we know more, we'll be sure to bring it to you both on air and online. Our website, again, ballstatedaily.com. Zoe Colton will go and send it back to you.
One person is dead after a fire in the 1400th block of Tillotson Avenue.
That's right, Anna. Newslink Indiana's Tylor Brummett is live tonight outside the home where that fire took place. Tyler, what are you learning?
Well, Joel and Anna, let me just tell you, this is a devastating situation. As you guys said, one person is dead after this fire. All of this happening in the house that is just behind me here on Tillotson Avenue. Firefighters say they responded just before 12:30. They tell me a home healthcare worker was stopping by for a routine visit. That's when that worker saw smoke coming around the door from inside the home. The worker then saw a 70-year-old Carl Reinhardt Jr. Firefighters removed Reinhardt and said he was dead at the scene. Investigators believe smoking was the cause of this fire. I did speak with neighbors in the area. All of those neighbors did not want to go on camera, but they told me they were just shocked to see all of this happening. The massive presence of first responders did cause traffic delays in this area. Police were diverting traffic around the scene as this did happen just off campus in a very busy part of the city. Now, guys, let me tell you, while on scene today, we saw something that was just really hard to watch. In fact, heartbreaking is probably the best way to describe it. We saw family members of that victim come to the house just behind me, and obviously they were shaken up by the events that did play out. Now, you should know an autopsy on Reinhardt is scheduled for tomorrow at IU Health Ball Memorial Hospital. There are still a few questions that remain in this investigation, and as we know more, we will be sure to bring it to you. For now, live on Tillotson Avenue, Tylor Brummett, Newslink, Indiana. As you might know, other schools across the state are getting rid of in-person classes as well. IU and Purdue making that announcement yesterday. They're among the schools taking those steps. But some students are asking tonight if this is a good idea.
Dude, I didn't even know about that. Like, you're the first one telling me that right now.
That reaction from Purdue student Maggie Merchkevich when Newslink Indiana was the first to tell her about Tuesday's decision to temporarily move all classes at her school online.
I'm a senior, so I only have this semester left. It's a little disappointing.
But Purdue isn't the only school in the state to take this action. Notre Dame and Indiana University also decided to move classes online. For IU students like Evelyn Sanchez, when she got the word of this news, she knew it was no joke.
When we got the email from the president of McRobbie's email list, that's when we knew it was something serious, other than the other updates that were just like little updates.
With schools across the country taking similar steps and the World Health Organization issuing a pandemic Wednesday, just how seriously should we take this?
For these universities to say, hey, we have a lot of students traveling, in and out of multiple probably airports and countries, to kind of do that social distancing for 14 days afterwards, definitely was a great mitigation strategy.
Becca Dillon is the director of the emergency department at IU Health Ball Memorial Hospital. She wants to remind everyone to do their part to help stop the spread of the virus.
Good hand hygiene, staying home when you're not well, and sometimes that's hard for us to do when we feel like, oh, it's just a scratchy throat or a mild fever. And that's the biggest advice that we have.
But in the meantime, both Merchkevich and Sanchez say this is a time in their college career they won't forget.
People are going to remember definitely how we missed classes. And two, I feel like people are still going to have the xenophobia that's been going on. I've walked through 3 feet of snow, been slipping on ice, and this is something that I don't think is even touching our campus, and they're closing it.
Definitely a bizarre situation for a lot of students. Now, at the University of Indianapolis, they're also canceling in-person classes and making that switch to online. We've got a full list of state universities making that call online at ballstatedaily.com. Marley and Brittany, there was really a lot discussed at that forum tonight, and students in that forum say they want more done following last week's confrontation between student Sultan Benson and Professor Shaheen Borna. Tonight's forum followed yesterday's walkout. The meeting just wrapped up not too long ago. It was put on by both the Student Government Association and the Black Student Association. Take a look at this footage here. Just over 100 people packed inside the Arts and Communication building, many of them voicing concerns about what they say was a situation that was poorly handled. Among the topics discussed were diversity on campus, tenured professors, and what some say is injustice coming from the university. This forum is one that SGA President Aiden Medellin says he felt was needed after he met with Benson.
I tend not to just jump on top of things. I want to know exactly what happened. So he came in, and I knew immediately after our meeting that I wanted to get a feel for how students on campus also felt about this situation.
We are the community, you feel me? We are the support here. We got to be here for one another, and I definitely feel like being in this room and seeing everybody here, that's what's happening.
Ball State President Jeffrey Mearns, he was invited to the forum, but he was not in attendance. But his response was discussed among those who were there. Now, as we've reported, Benson is set to meet with President Mearns Saturday. In the meantime, SGA President Medellin declined to tell me if he would support another walkout or if there would be another forum. And Marley and Britt, this is a story that we've been on top of since the beginning, and I promise you, we're going to continue to keep you updated as there could be more developments. We'll have you updated both on air and online.
Absolutely. He's exactly right. We are going to continue to keep you updated. You've done a great job covering it so far. Tylor Brummett live at the desk with us.
Cheryl Moffitt has about 50 felines roaming outside of her house. She says that she's ashamed that the problem has gotten this bad, and she even admits that it's caused a rift between her and her son, as well as her neighbors. While she realizes she brought the problem on herself, she now just wants the cats gone.
Come here, kitty, 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 kitty. Come on.
Cheryl Moffitt says the cat call for food has become a ritual every morning and night. So much so, her life has been put on hold.
I hate to not feed them. I don't even go on a vacation. And even if I go somewhere, I'm always thinking, gotta get home and feed the cats. I gotta get home and feed the cats.
The problem started a few years ago and has been multiplying ever since. Moffitt spotted her first stray cat with kittens and started to feed them. And now, 5 years and nearly $20,000 later, Moffitt says she doesn't know how to break the cycle.
But I feel sorry for them. I just have too soft a heart. That's my problem. I've had a hard time turning my back on them, and I wish I could. Some are real friendly, and I wish they could find a home.
Moffitt says the cats have taken over her yard. She's so willing to get rid of the cats, she hasn't named any of them, but says her attachment is what's keeping her from starving them, a crucial mistake she admits keeps the felines coming back.
How am I going to get out of this mess? What will I do? And some people say, well, just stop feeding them, and they'll leave. But I fed them so long they look in my windows.
While about half the cats are spayed or neutered, despite Moffitt's efforts to get help, the problem keeps on growing. Moffitt says she just wants her life back and for the cats to have a life of their own somewhere else.
It really has become a nightmare. I know. I mean, if I had it to do over again, I probably wouldn't feed a stray cat anyway, just turn my head and not look. But if I did, anyway, I'd know to get it spayed and neutered right away.
Now, the low-cost spay and neuter clinic of Noblesville has been working with Moffitt. They say if anyone is interested, they would like to help you help Moffett. The clinic says they will facilitate anyone trying to pick up one of the cats. In studio, Tylor Brummett, Wish TV News 8.